Let's explore this profound topic. Imagine that the moment you are about to meet the quantum you, everything changes. The elevated emotion is the carrier of your thoughts. Every piece of energy, every frequency carries information. The faster the frequency, the higher the energy, the more elevated the emotion. Combine this with a clearer intention, and it becomes like a laser, creating a coherent signature. We've measured this, and when people have a coherent brain and heart, something amazing happens in their lives. It's not just about feeling gratitude, because we know that just having an elevated emotion doesn't change matter. We also know that just having a clear intention of seeing something change doesn't change matter either. They've done experiments on this. You have to combine the clear intention with the elevated emotion. The emotion is the energy, the frequency, the carrier of the thought. The thought is the intent, the direction, the specific field, the frequency. It's like tuning a radio dial. It's all about vibration. It's all about energy. When there's a vibrational match between your energy and a potential that exists in the quantum field, when there's a vibrational match, it's going to find you. Intention is getting clear on what you want. Let's say you want a new home or a beautiful garden. Start by finding magazine pictures of gardens that you love. Start drawing pictures, start seeing and writing down the things that you want. Throw it up somewhere and then add another dream and another. Keep your conscious mind on that, and your subconscious mind will take you there. Impatience means you believe something's not going to happen. But we're here to experience life, to enjoy the magnificence of our creations. Our senses become the artist that writes the story in our biology. When you start to see that home, that vision, you start making the choices for it. You step into the unknown and become the creator, doing something that's never been done before. It brings you joy, excitement, and meaning. Your body always follows your mind. Of course, it's going to take time. It's like a garden you tend in your life. You're always going to be pulling weeds, pruning branches, fertilizing, and pulling rocks out. But that's the joy of the creation, because you get to eat the fruit of your own creation. Our senses should be the last to experience what our mind has created. The intention represents all the details, but these details can be summarized in a symbol, a letter, a picture, one picture. You know that picture means all those things because you've reviewed all those things. If you hold the picture, the symbol, the dream house, the dream garden, don't say, when this dream garden comes, then I'll be happy. Say I am, because the thought you're having is the experience, and the experience then produces the emotion. Once the emotion begins to occur, your brain and body are in the future instead of the past. When you start opening your heart, something amazing happens. Your heart begins to move into coherence, which means it starts working in a smooth and balanced way. This coherence creates a measurable magnetic field around you, extending up to 3 meters wide. Imagine it like an invisible energy bubble that surrounds you. This magnetic field is a type of frequency, and it's pure energy. All this energy and frequency carry information. Think of it as a radio signal. Just like a radio signal carries music or voices, your heart's magnetic field carries information and intent. Intent is what you want or desire. When you feel strong emotions like gratitude and your heart is open, you're broadcasting this energy out into the world. It's like sending out a powerful signal. When you feel gratitude, you are not just feeling good, you are sending out a high-frequency signal. This frequency can carry your thoughts about health, wealth, or any other positive intention you have. So if you focus on thoughts of good health or abundance while feeling grateful, that frequency carries those thoughts. It's like putting your dreams and desires on a powerful wave of energy that reaches far beyond your physical body. On the other hand, if you are suffering, that energy doesn't carry the same thoughts. Suffering generates a different type of energy, a lower frequency. This lower frequency can't carry thoughts of wealth or health effectively. Instead, it might carry thoughts of lack, pain, or negativity. It's important to understand that the type of energy you emit influences the kind of experiences you attract. When you focus on gratitude and open your heart, you are aligning yourself with positive energy. This alignment is crucial because the energy you broadcast interacts with the world around you. If you consistently emit a high-frequency energy filled with positive intent, you are more likely to attract positive experiences and outcomes. For example, if you are trying to improve your health, you should not only think about being healthy, but also feel grateful as if you are already in good health. This combination of positive thought and strong emotion sends out a clear and powerful signal. The universe responds to this signal, and you start to notice improvements in your health. The same principle applies to wealth. If you want to attract wealth, think about what it feels like to be abundant. Feel the gratitude for the wealth you desire as if you already have it. This creates a strong and coherent energy field that broadcasts your intention clearly. The energy you emit attracts similar energies, and opportunities for wealth start to appear in your life. It's also essential to be aware of your feelings and thoughts regularly. If you notice yourself slipping into negative emotions like anger, fear, or sadness, take steps to shift back to feelings of gratitude and love. This shift helps maintain a high-frequency energy field, which supports your positive intentions. One practical way to keep your heart open and your energy high is through meditation or mindfulness practices. Spend a few minutes each day focusing on things you are grateful for. Imagine your heart opening and emitting a bright, powerful light. Visualize this light spreading out, carrying your positive intentions into the world. If you believe in that future you're imagining with all your heart, it better be open and activated. You need to know how to self-regulate. You have to recognize the moment you disconnect from the energy of your future because of some circumstance in your life, and you lose that feeling. If you practice this daily with your eyes closed, the next level is to open your eyes and do it in the moment, self-regulating, changing frustration from an experience back to the energy of your future. This requires great awareness and effort. If you have a community practicing this daily and they're connected to their future because that's where their mind is, they begin to want the future more than the emotions of the past. Write down everything you want in that person and become it. Many people have interesting definitions of love. Some see it as need, some as sexuality, control, dominance, success. These experiences don't lead to true love. In relationships, I believe no one should work in a relationship. If you're working in it, something's not right. If you bring your best and your partner brings their best, you celebrate life together. There's growth, energy. If you're not at your best, more than likely, you'll pick someone or something apart. It's better to remove yourself for a time, get back into your heart, present yourself at your best. If you need a mirror, a reflection, ask, am I missing something? Am I not seeing myself in some way? Have a healthy conversation when invited. If you're not invited, it's better not to contribute your opinion. People say they want a loving relationship, but they really want happiness. We do meditations to create love in our lives, with siblings, parents, friends, or a significant other. If thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field and feelings are the magnetic charge, how you think and feel broadcasts a signature influencing every atom in your life. The thought sends a signal out. The feeling is the magnetic field drawing the event back. If you're not in love with life, yourself, or practicing diminishing emotional reactions, if you're living in anger, hostility, judgment, fear, and want a loving relationship, there's no magnetic field to draw that to you. If you say a person or circumstance caused you to feel a certain way, that person or circumstance controls the way you feel and think. Anything controlling how we feel and think, we are victims to. Most people unconsciously respond to environmental conditions, experiencing emotions derived from stress hormones. These emotions make us feel separate from our dreams, heighten our senses, so if we can't see them, they don't exist. The threat or danger puts us in emergency mode. We can think positively about the relationship we want, send the signal out, have pictures, remind ourselves, but if we're not drawing the experience back because our response to the environment weakens us, we become vulnerable. If you want a true relationship based on love, practice trading survival emotions for elevated emotions daily. Practice opening your heart. It's a skill that moves you out of survival. People say they can't open their hearts, can't feel love. I ask, what do you practice feeling? Whatever you practice feeling, you're feeling most of the time. It could be guilt, it feels like you. The stronger the emotions we feel from life's problems, the more altered we feel inside, the more we pay attention to what's causing it outside. When you have a life event that has a strong emotional charge, it often shakes you up so much that you don't feel like your normal self. It's like an alarm system inside you switches on. This alarm system makes you feel tense, stressed, or anxious. When this happens, what you're really doing is tuning into the familiar past. You're remembering old feelings, old reactions, and old situations. Your body starts to react as if those old situations are happening again, even though they aren't. It's like you're conditioning your body to live in the past. To meet the quantum you must transcend this. The quantum you is the best version of yourself that you can imagine. It's a version of you that is free from past limitations and old patterns. To meet this version of yourself, you need to rise above your current habits and ways of thinking. This means you need to understand that your thoughts are powerful and they create your reality. Every thought you think sends a signal out into the universe and has an impact on your life. If you're always thinking the same thoughts, you're always creating the same reality. Imagine your thoughts are like a radio signal. If you keep tuning into the same station, you're going to keep hearing the same music. In the same way, if you keep thinking the same thoughts, you're going to keep experiencing the same kind of life. Your thoughts shape your actions, your feelings, and even the opportunities that come your way. To change your reality, you need to change your thoughts. This might sound simple, but it can be challenging because our thoughts are often automatic. They come from our subconscious mind and are influenced by our past experiences. When you think a thought repeatedly, it becomes a belief. Over time, these beliefs become deeply ingrained in your mind. They form the basis of your reality. To break free from this cycle, you need to start thinking new thoughts. You need to consciously choose to think differently. This means being aware of your thoughts and catching yourself when you're thinking in a way that doesn't serve you. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," you need to stop and replace that thought with, "I am capable and I can do this." This process takes practice and patience. It's like building a new muscle. At first, it might feel strange or difficult, but the more you practice, the easier it becomes. As you start to think new thoughts, you will begin to create a new reality. You will start to notice changes in your life. You might feel more positive, more confident, and more open to new opportunities. One powerful way to change your thoughts is through visualization. Visualization is the practice of imagining yourself in a different reality. Close your eyes and picture yourself as the quantum you. See yourself living the life you want to live. Imagine how it feels, what you're doing, and who you're with. The more detailed and vivid your visualization, the more powerful it is. As you practice visualization, you're sending a new signal out into the universe. You're telling the universe what you want and aligning yourself with that reality. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and an imagined one. When you visualize, you're training your brain to believe in this new reality. To change, you must think greater than you feel. You must condition your body to a new mind. When you do this, you're no longer a victim of your environment. You're a creator of your world. You start to see possibilities you didn't see before. You start to feel empowered. And as you feel this way, you broadcast a new energy into the field. The quantum field responds not to what we want, but to who we are being. If you're being someone who's grateful, empowered, and in love with life, you'll draw experiences that match that energy. But if you're being someone who's angry, fearful, or feeling lack, you'll draw experiences that match that energy. The key is to become aware of who you're being and make a conscious choice to change. This process requires daily practice. It's like training a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. You start your day with a meditation, setting your intention for the day, feeling the emotions of your future. You carry that energy throughout your day, staying aware of when you fall back into old patterns and choosing to change. Over time, you build new neural networks in your brain, creating a new state of being. When you align your thoughts and emotions with the future you desire, you create a powerful electromagnetic field that draws that future to you. You're no longer a victim of your past. You're a creator of your future. You start to see synchronicities, opportunities, and people who match your energy. Your life begins to change in ways you never imagined. This is the power of the quantum field. It responds to who you're being, not just what you want. So if you're seeing this, it means you're ready to meet the quantum you. You're ready to step into a new reality, one where you're the creator, not the victim. You're ready to live a life of purpose, passion, and joy. Start firing and wiring and start feeling it. What behaviors will I demonstrate today? What choices will I make? One day, one lifetime. Just like you did, rehearse them. Rehearse the whole entire thing. Begin to install the neurological hardware in your brain. And if you keep installing it, the hardware is going to become a software program, and you're going to start thinking and acting that way. And then here's the tough part. Can you teach your body emotionally what your future is going to feel like before it's made manifest? And don't get up until you feel that way. Now practice that for a few days and then see if you can stay in that state and watch all of a sudden all those weird doors start opening for you. Synchronicities, whatever they are. Number 2, take time at the end of your day before you lay down, and give thanks for your life. Feel gratitude and really teach your body what it feels like. The emotional signature of gratitude means you're getting something. If I give you something that's of value, you would say thank you because you would feel it, right? So when you're receiving, you're giving thanks. So gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. So then people only accept, believe, and surrender to the thoughts equal to their emotional state. So if you're in a state of gratitude, every thought's gonna make it right down into your body. If you're saying, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, and your body's programmed the negativity, it's saying, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not, thought's going to stop right here. So as you elevate your state, there are about 100-200 different chemical reactions that go on in the body that begin to restore and repair the body in a state of gratitude. And so we've done the research to prove that. 10 minutes and just feel it with all of your heart. That's it. The third thing, and very important, take time. Whenever it is, sit down, close your eyes, and begin to just open your awareness to the space around you and just sense it and pay attention to it and become more aware of it. The act of opening your awareness begins to reduce the stress hormones and creates more coherent brainwave states. I'm doing it right now. It's just a practice. It's just a practice. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. Most of our thoughts and feelings come from our past experiences. They come from our memories. In fact, your brain is organized to reflect everything you know in your life. Your brain is a record of all the things you've learned and experienced to date. It's an artifact. And when you have an experience, when you're in the midst of an experience, all of your 5 senses plug you into the external environment. And as your brain is processing all of this vital sensory data, all of that information rushes back to the brain, and when it reaches the brain, it causes jungles of neurons to organize themselves into networks, to string into patterns, to reflect their interaction with their external environment. The moment those neurons organize into patterns, the brain makes a chemical, and that chemical is called a feeling or an emotion. And so experiences tend to create more long-term memories because it patterns or stamps or embosses networks of neurons into very specific patterns. And then the emotional quotient helps us to remember the event. So we learn something new intellectually. We also cause networks of neurons to form. The Nobel Prize laureate Kandel in the year 2000 found that when people learn just one bit of information, they double the number of connections in their brain from 1,300 connections to 2,600 connections. So if they didn't review that information or repeat it, the connections pruned apart. So we know then that learning semantic information begins to organize circuitry in the brain, and experiences enrich the brain. The end product of experience, of course, is the emotion, and it causes us to feel certain ways. You can remember where you were on 9/11. You can tell me who you were with, what time of day it was, what you were doing, because whatever you were seeing in that moment or hearing in that moment changed how you were feeling. And the moment you felt altered or you felt differently, significantly, your brain perked up and you paid attention to whatever caused that. And that event in and of itself is called a memory. So then most of our thoughts and feelings tend to be within the neural circuitry of the past and the emotions of the past chemically. So if you take a thought, thoughts are the language of the brain, and feelings are the language of the body, and how you think and how you feel creates a state of being. So if you combine a thought and a feeling, a thought and a feeling, a thought and a feeling, and you have a series of good thoughts that are connected to a series of good feelings, that cycle of thinking and feeling creates what's called an attitude. If you have a series of negative thoughts that are connected to some pretty bad feelings, you'll say, I have a pretty bad attitude today. So if how you think and how you feel creates a state of being, then attitudes are just shortened states of being. You feel good in the morning, you feel bad in the afternoon. If you take an attitude, an attitude, an attitude, and you begin to string attitudes together, when you combine an attitude, an attitude, an attitude, you start to form what's called beliefs. Now, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again until you hardwire it in your brain. And because beliefs are based on past experiences, then the very boundaries of our beliefs are how we feel. And so when our beliefs get challenged, it typically doesn't feel right. I know from the research that we've done that the redundancy of thinking and feeling and thinking over time, for example, a person has an insecure thought, then they feel insecure. The moment they feel insecure, they think more insecure thoughts. They fire and wire more circuits in their brain to feel more chemicals of insecurity. And then once they're feeling insecure, they think more insecure thoughts. And they do this over and over again. Right on the other side of your fear is courage. Right on the other side of your sadness is joy. It's the same energy. It's just trapped in the body. And when you stretch yourself past that point and you break free from the chains of those emotional addictions, the side effect of that is called joy. And the body is liberated from that level of mind. And when that happens, there's available energy to create with. And so when you break through that, you begin to love yourself. You begin to respect yourself. And you begin to love and respect others because you see yourself in them. And now that you're free from it, you can understand them with compassion without knee-jerking in the same way. So the difficulty here is really making the time to do it. And if you began to think about a new way of being and you moved into a state where you said, I'm not going to get up until I am this person. And not only did you memorize it neurologically in your brain, but you allowed the thoughts that you were thinking to become the experience to the point that your body, as the unconscious mind, began to live in that future reality in the present moment. And when you got up, when mind and body were working together in that state of being, and you said, I'm going to maintain the state of being my entire day, and I don't care. Bring on the challenges, because I want to test my greatness. And you did that the entire day. The end of your day, when you finished your day, more than likely you'd have more energy than when you started. The literal translation of the word meditation in Tibetan means to become familiar with. The symbol means to become familiar with. So if you're becoming conscious of or familiar with your unconscious self to the point you're so conscious of your unconscious thoughts, so familiar with your unconscious habits, and so aware of your emotions that you would never let them go by unnoticed by you. There's no chance for you to return back to the old self, to know thyself. So people wake up in the morning and they start thinking about their problems. And those problems are memories in the brain that are connected to certain people and certain things at certain times and places. So they wake up in the morning and they start thinking in the past. Now, the moment they start having those thoughts, every one of those experiences has an emotion associated with it. So when they start thinking about their problems or the problems of the world or the problems of their body or whatever it is, problems at work, they all of a sudden start to feel the correlated emotion. So now their body's in the past. So now people then get caught up in an emotion, they reaffirm their identity, they could wake up in the morning and feel nothing at all. And then all of a sudden they say, well, wait a second, I've got to get back to myself. So they start thinking about their problems, and here come the emotions. And they say, oh, now I feel like me again. So those emotions then begin to influence our thoughts. Like if you feel like a failure, you're going to think you're a failure. And when you think you're a failure, you're going to feel like a failure. And when you feel like a failure, you're going to think more thoughts equal to being a failure. And the cycle of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking causes you to say, I am a failure. And the repetition of that process of thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking conditions the body to become the mind of that emotion. Now the emotion is stored in the body. Now the body's literally in the past. And the body, as the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between the actual experience that's creating the emotion and the emotion that you're creating by thought alone. Your body's believing it's in the same experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So then getting people out of the past is the work. So then they wake up in the morning after they reaffirm who they are, and they can't think greater than how they feel. They're in the familiar past. So if you're in the familiar past, you're going to do the things that reaffirm the emotions of your predictable future. So you wake up in the morning, you check your WhatsApp, you check your text, you check your Twitter, you tweet, you check your Facebook, you check your email, you check the news. Now you are really connected to everything that's known in your life. And then you run through a series of routine behaviors. You move around your house the same way you always do. You do all the same things. You go to the same grocery store, you buy the same food, you shop the same way, you do all these, you watch the same TV shows, and people do this for 10, 20, 30 years. Now their body's on autopilot, and their body's dragging them into a predictable future based on what they did in the past. You could actually take their yesterday and lift it up and set it on their tomorrow, which means then they've lost their free will to a program. So now the familiar past and the predictable future is called the known. There's only one place that you have to train a person to be so that they're not in the known, they're in the unknown, and that's called the present moment. So people get very happy being unhappy because they would rather cling to their unhappiness than take a chance in possibility. So stepping into that river and beginning to make a new choice and understanding that uncertainty, that unpredictability is the unknown. Now you're in that river of change, and it is the neurological, the biological, the chemical, hormonal, genetic death of the old self. People say to me, well, if there's uncertainty, I can't predict my future. And I always say the same thing. The best way to predict your future is to create it, not in the known, right there. That uncertainty, you can learn now how to regulate your state instead of living in fear, because the idea that things are going to get worse, the idea that you can't predict, the idea of being uncertain or can't control something actually sets off the stress response. So now you're in the unknown, and this survival gene is switched on. Of course, people are going out of the infinite possibilities that exist in the quantum field. They're going to select the worst scenario in their mind, right? So then what if you're in the unknown and you understand that, and now you can work back into that present moment, and you say, what thoughts do I want to fire and wire in my brain, put my attention behind? What behaviors today, one day? What behaviors do I want to demonstrate? And the act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing who you're going to be when you open your eyes begins to install the neurological hardware in your brain to look like you've already done it. Now the brain is no longer a record of the past.